Alright, my people, you all know Sudan, right? But do you know what is happening in Sudan? I guess you don't know. So just wait, let me fill you in. Now, there's a genocide happening in Sudan, and the world is just watching. But nobody is talking about it. Nobody is even doing anything to ascertain the situation in Sudan. A lot of black people are being executed in Sudan. A lot of black people of Sudan are being killed each day. Black people are being unalive on daily basis in Sudan. Now, it's really getting crazier. Let's understand the real ideals out there. Basically, the government has accused the UAE of sponsoring genocide in the country. The government is saying they are the reason why people are being killed because they are providing weapons to the ones that are killing black people in Sudan. And nobody is doing anything to solve this. Or no organization is doing something to ascertain the situation in Sudan. Now, for you to know, Sudan is the biggest country in Africa, but no more because Sudan is now two different countries. We have the North Sudan and the South Sudan. Now, North Sudan is run by the Arab-looking people in Africa, and the South Sudan is run by black people. I guess you may be asking how this happened, right? Yes, let me just take you back in times, how it happens, how all these things came to existence. How did it happen? What happened before they separate? Now, in 1956, Sudan got independence from the British and the Egypt. So, Sudan got populations of Arabs in the north, and the south is occupied by the black people, mostly some Christians, some traditionalists, and others living there. Now, after many years, the people in Sudan were angry at the government. They were fighting against the government, and Sudan started seeing chaos, rebellions, protests, disruptions, and killings of people, insurgency. Now, what are the people angry about? What are they fighting with against the government? Simply, they are just angry about the government not taking care of them, the government not doing the necessary things. The government has neglected them and looking after the Arab-looking people in the country. Basically, after independence, the country was run by Arabs, and 8 biggest institutions are also run by Arabs. So that means the Sudanese government has neglected the black-looking people in the country and focused on the Arabs-looking people in the country. So in that case, the black people in the country are suffering, while the Arab-looking people in the country are being prioritized. They are living rich life. That's what it means. So the black people of Sudan were angry at the government and started demanding accountability, started demanding to be taken care of, and also said if they are not going to be taken care of, then they want liberation, they want their own government, they want to separate from Sudan. And apparently, the Arab didn't like the idea, so they decided to shut them up. And they did. So many groups of army by Arabs started eliminating the black people of Sudan, beating them up and unaliving them badly. So since 1956, there was many rebels fighting for the same cause, doing the same thing, the same ways, claiming you are not taking after us, you are only looking after the Arab-looking people. So Sudan has seen many rebels after rebels after rebels because black people were angry. They formed their own groups. Some couldn't take arms, some take arms. And the Arab people did not like the idea, so they started executing the black people of Sudan. Chaos after chaos, insurgency after insurgency. Now, the group that was beating and unaliving black people are called the Janjaweed, and they are one of the ruthless and dangerous people. They unalive black people in Sudan without any mercy. They didn't just attack people with arms, they attacked specific villages of black people, raped children, raped women, younger ladies, and even killed both women, children, and men. They unalive people mercilessly in Sudan. And this happened between 2003 to 2010 in the Darfur story. A lot of black people lost their life. About 4,000 people lost their lives. Some mainstream seen millions of people lost their life in Sudan. So black people were angry. They were tired, asking for independence because they felt like they are being treated like second-grade citizens. So in 2001, after a lot of black people were murdered, were executed, were killed, they got independent. They created their own country called South Sudan. Now, in 2013, the Janjaweed group were now formalized to RSF after killing a lot of black people, meaning they are not rebels groups anymore. So the government now acknowledge and support them to continue their cause. The government now supports the rebels, many of them that killed black people, execute a lot of children, rape women, now turn into RSF. The government now supports them, fund them. But remember this, even though black people created South Sudan, not every one of them had the chance to move into South Sudan because of their physical location. So many black people still remains in other parts of the country. And even though South Sudan was independent, so many of the black people that could not go into South Sudan because of their physical locations still remain in other parts of the country. And those people were still prosecuted to now. They were still being unalive to now as I'm speaking to you. Now let's get back to 2013. The president was Omar al-Bashir, and he has been in power since 1993 and had a very bad record of neglecting black people. So Omar al-Bashir changed the Janjaweed group to RSF. He decided to change the group to RSF to cleanse them. What was his goal? The goal was very simple: to cleanse them of their sins, to eradicate their bad records. After killing a lot of people, he wanted people to think differently of them, and he wanted to make people forget whatever atrocity this group has committed in the past. But doing so, he forgets that he was creating a pirate army. So the RSF became stronger as the normal army. And not only that, the RSF has occupied so many lands that got Sudan minerals, and they also receive finances and support from the government. So the RSF occupies lands that are producing gold, and they got used to that power because they had the movement over there. They were placed on something. So whenever you place somebody on somewhere, when the person is getting a lot of money, the person became used to that and refused to go. They became addicted to that kind of wealth, that kind of power they're getting. Now the RSF was led by this man here, Mohammed Ahmad Dagalo, and the Sudan army was led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Now, so this is two different groups of people. One controls the army and the other one controls the ruthless gangs. So in 2019, the people in Sudan are very angry with the government because food became expensive and things are not working out well in the country. So many people went down the streets protesting against the government. So the two generals decided to overthrow the president and run the country by themselves, and they succeeded in doing that. But first, the initial goal was to take out the government and bring civilian government to come and rule the country. But these two men decided to fight for power, decided to rule the country. These two men were contemplating who will be the next president of the country because them all got power. So the RSF refused to be a subordinate of the army because they see themselves very stronger and have everything. So why should they submit themselves under someone or the army? And if they do it, it's as if they are losing their power. So the RSF, which was Janjaweed, wanted to take over, and it became a fight between the Sudan army and the RSF fighting for power. Now remember this, the RSF was formed by the Janjaweed, and this group didn't just fight rebels, they attacked entire villages associated with Fair Malaxite, Zakawa, the ethnic groups, and these are black people in Sudan. So the Janjaweed unalike black people in Sudan to shut them up. Now they are now the RSF. So the black people in Sudan, even though they have been neglected so many times by the government, they still prefer the army than the Janjaweed, now the RSF. Why? It's just simple. Even though the army may not be nice to them, they may still be accountable for their actions in world politics. Meaning, if the army did something bad to them, the world will condemn it, speak about it, and the army will face the consequences. But the Janjaweed, now the RSF, are murderers. They don't account for their actions because they are terrorists. That is why they prefer the army than the RSF. Now the Janjaweed was condemned due to mass killing, rape, forced displacement, international condemnation, and charges of genocide. And here comes the UAE. How is the UAE involved? Apparently, the army is accusing the UAE of sponsoring the RSF that was created by the Janjaweed. So the army is saying that the UAE sent drones, weapons, and intelligence services, satellite imagery to the Janjaweed. And by doing so, they are helping them to unalive many civilians as possible. And that is the genocide they are participating in. And also the Sudanese government also accused the UAE of sponsoring Colombian fighters to go and fight with the Sudan government. So right now you may be asking the question, why is the UAE involved? It's just simple. Sudan is the third producer of gold in the world. So Sudan sent 8 gold to UAE, which is their biggest client. So the UAE has invested heavy into the gold in Sudan. Now remember this, the lands or mines of gold are now controlled by the RSF, not the army. So basically the UAE will prefer dealing with the RSF directly than dealing with the army or dealing with the government. Because if you go to the government, you have to pass through tremendous processes, pay a huge money before getting access to what you have. But when you go to those who have nothing, those who are just criminals, who are terrorists, who are gangs, rebels, you can just put something out there, small amount of money, then you can get a huge sum of what you want. It's just simple as that. So the UAE has invested tremendously on the land, farmlands in Sudan. Remember, the UAE is mostly desertic, so they need arable land where they farms, and the UAE imports 90% of their food, and a lot of that comes from Sudan. So they don't want to deal with the army than the RSF. they want to deal with the RSF. That's their choice. Now, the RSF has taken control of the El Fasher, the last major city in the North Darfur of the Sudanese armed forces. They have beaten the army and they have vowed to crush the army. Remember this, these are people that are once called the Janjaweed, and their goals was to unalive black people, and they have succeeded in unaliving many of the black people. And if they crush the army, what does this mean? They are going to crush everybody that supports the army. And remember, the black people of Sudan support the army because they believe in the army better than the RSF. That is the reality of what is happening in Sudan. But many people are quiet because it's black people that are being unalive or killed in Sudan, not the other way around. And they are there talking about Gaza, Hamas. Yes, we know a lot is happening in Gaza and Hamas. But what about Sudan? Guys, just let me know what you think about this or how you feel about that. If you think what is happening in Sudan is so devastating, drop your opinion in the comment section. Peace and love. Thank you for watching this channel. See you in my next video.